Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, y'all made it pretty clear that you were not particularly enthralled with the shows we ran last week, so we're going to kick it up a notch and bring you some comedy this weekend. How about an episode of Fibber McGee and Molly? In fact, how about an hour's worth of Fibber and Molly? We're going to do some history with Fibber and Molly. Of course, as most of you know, they ran on NBC from 1935 all the way into the late 1950s. And had it not been for Molly's passing, they would have continued into the 60s. But that's a sadness. We'll even bring you an episode of them on Monitor. But we're just going to enjoy quarter hours and half hours and the whole 9 yards. And let's go back as we start off here this hour to August 26th, 1935. That's 88 years ago, and thanks to what appears to be an over-the-air transcription of the show, you can hear what it was like when radio stations were sharing time back then. That was something that was very common. And we'll get to Fibber and Molly, but first, I need to take a break for this. Now, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues answering the age-old question, how did Fibber and Molly, and Fibber with not a lot of money, and Molly, how did they end up at 79 Wistful Vista? Well, you'll hear about that in this episode of the program. This was originally broadcast early in their run, August 26th, 1935, 88 years ago.
This is WENR, the voice of service in Chicago. At this time, WENR leaves the air in favor of WLS.
Good evening, everyone. You are now listening to WLS, the voice of Prairie Farmer, America's oldest farm paper, Chicago.
The makers of Johnson's Wax bring you more musical moments of unmitigated merriment with Rico Marcelli's orchestra, Ronald Mansfield, Charlie Wilson, the Johnson Merrymen, and Marion and Jim as those gay and garrulous gadders, those gasoline gondoliers, Fibber McGee and Molly. Martelli and his men leave their broadcasting for forecasting, and they find it's going to get hotter with shifting wood winds and a rain of rhythm in The Weatherman. Wrap it up, Rico. In the midst of this sparkling music, let me remind you that now is the time to wax your car. Your family, your friends will be proud to ride with you when your car sparkles and gleams with a Johnson Wax polish. Ask your dealer for Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. You'll receive a can of fine quality black touch-up enamel absolutely free when you make your purchase. Don't delay another day. Wax your car the Johnson way.
Where the man wants to drive skies were blue. Now each day's cold and gray. Won't you push the clouds away? I can't endure the temperature. Weatherman, I depend on you. In my heart there's a chill where there used to be a thrill. I need my gal, you weatherman. The winds are blowing, I can't shiver. My thoughts are going down to the river. The night is stormy, do something for me. You know my share of the weather is long overdue. Weatherman, see what you can do. Take the sun, make it shine. Find my gal and make her mine. Or change your plan, you know you can. You weatherman.
Remember what the poet sang? A loaf of bread, a jug of wine, and thou? Well, that's Fibber McGee and Molly. Two loafers, bread, a jug of the motor, and thousands of miles behind them. They come inside of a new real estate development.
Look, McGee, 'tis a carnival. Let's stop.
Oh, shucks, Molly. We ain't got time to go messing around those dead-ratted carnivals. Besides, it ain't a carnival.
Well, then what is it? Look at the people and the flags and all.
I don't know. What's the flag say on them?
Well, slow down so's I can read them, ignorant.
Okay. What's the sign say, Molly? I can't read them and drive, too.
Oh, must be a new subdivision, McGee. It says Wistful Vista home site. $1 down. Buy a lot for a little.
Lot of what?
Build a home for the land sake.
Fooey for me to them.
The realest real estate you ever bought.
Oh, shucks, we don't want to stop and listen to a lot of high-pressure salesmanship.
Look, McGee, that sign.
Where?
Barbecue sandwiches and coffee free.
Gotta get them brakes thick.
You needn't have stopped so sudden. You near broke me neck.
I know. I just happened to think. Every American citizen ought to be interested in the home building, Molly. It's the backbone of our...
Go on with you, McGee. It's your wishbone you're talking about. You're wishing for a free sandwich.
Oh, shucks, Molly.
Hello.
There's one hello too many, mister. There's only two of us.
So I see. Yes, so I see. Two is the very type of citizen we want to see settle down on a little nest on this beautiful development, folks. Here's where you get a lot for a little. A home for half and contentment on every dotted line. Yes, sir, folks.
What is this place now?
This place, madam? Why, this is none other than that beautiful landscaped Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista subdivision. Wired for light, piped for gas, paved for pavement, ditched for sewers, and for only the small sum of...
Well, where do you get them free sandwiches, brother?
And coffee.
Right over there, sir, at the barbecue pit. But before you avail yourself of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista hospitality, let me give you a short summary of our proposition here. We have probably the finest, the most economical...
Come on, Molly, get out. I don't know why we can't get a mouthful and an earful at the same time. Where'd you say this here free barbecue pit was, brother?
Well, I must inform you that that word free is conditional.
And what do you mean conditional? Free is free.
Oh, yes, indeed. Free without the slightest reservations to those who hold tickets for the grand drawing.
Grand what?
What you mean, tickets for the grand drawing?
Do you mean to say that you've come within 10,000 miles of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista without learning from every man, woman, and child the sensational details of our sales stimulant?
Oh, sure.
Why, sir and madam, here is opportunity itself knocking, nay, thundering at your door.
That's all I want is opportunity to sink my teeth into a
Why,
barbecue...
for the paltry sum of only $2, sir. You buy a ticket which may bring you shelter in your declining days, a haven from the storms of the future, the dream of every solid citizen of this great commonwealth.
Oh, you mean you're selling chances onto a house?
A house?
A house?
Did you say a house, madam?
Certainly I said
This is the house. The house of your dreams, madam. A cove of contentment. The realization of a lifetime's yearnings. The answer to a woman's prayer. Look there. Where?
Where?
There.
Oh.
Direct your gaze at that fine covered cottage. That marvelous modern example of the architect's art. The home of your heart's desire. Right over there.
Oh, the house. Well, it is real pretty, isn't it, McGee?
Oh, it's okay. Now, where did you say this here barbecue?
Oh, McGee, you gotta have a ticket, the man says. It's only $2, and you have a chance to win that house and lot, too. Am I right, mister?
The miserable truth. For the miserable sum of $2.
What in Tunket's so miserable about $2, brother? That'll buy 20 sandwiches. And let me tell you, brother, a hamburger in the hand is worth a house in the hat any day. Come on, Molly, we better get back
Wait
to
now,
our talk.
McGee, wait. Buy me a ticket.
Buy you a... What was that, Molly?
You heard me, McGee. Buy me a ticket.
Well, for the... You mean you spend $2?
McGee, I'm starved.
Say, brother, how many sandwiches are you entitled to when you got a ticket?
Oh, there's no limit, sir. It's merely a gesture of hospitality on the part of the Hagelmeyer Wistful Vista Development Company. We feel that a well-fed customer is a better prospect.
You mean you can eat as much as you want?
Yes.
Give me a ticket.
There you are, sir. And as a friend to friend, I may say that you've never made a more intelligent purchase. It is...
You mean as one real estate man to another, brother?
Oh, now, McGee, give the man his $2 and let's be eating.
Here's your $2, brother. As I was saying, I used to dabble mite in real estate myself. Tropical real estate.
Oh, really?
Nope, O'Reilly. O'Reilly and McGee. O'Reilly and McGee, the part payment promoted to Panama. Used to sell banana plantations mostly. Some pineapple farms and rubber timber, but mostly bananas. Still, you should ought to seen the work we done on the pineapple plantation.
But if you'll excuse me,
You
sir,
ain't prying into my business a bit, brother. Always glad to share my experience with another real estate man. As I was saying, you should have seen the O'Reilly and McGee part payment promotion of pineapple plantation.
Oh, now, McGee, the man
Wants to hear about how I done her. I know. You see, brother, I was probably the leading banana land promoter in Panama at the time.
Banana oil, McGee.
Banana oil. No, banana land. I had me the biggest plantation of bananas onto the island of Pago Pago.
Is that so?
Why, even the hurricane of 1908 never fazed me.
Well,
Even though the lightning bust every banana tree I owned right down the middle of the trunk.
lightning struck every banana tree?
Right down the middle. But it never disturbed me none. I just took one look at them trees, ordered a herd of Jersey cows shipped in, and set up an ice cream plant.
What for?
Banana splits for the export trade. Come on, Molly.
Miles Martelli and his men confessing to a starlight superstition, I wished on the moon. And I might say right here that if you ever wished on the moon, or just wished that your car could keep that brilliant factory finish, Johnson's Auto Wax will keep it that way.
Yes, sir, Harpo. I always says that a can
Now,
of...
just a minute, Fibber. My name is Harlow, once and for all.
Okay. That's once for you, and for all of me, it's still Harpo. I ever tell you about the time I had me the bee farm down in Turkey Run, Indiana?
Oh, an apiary.
I says bees, not monkeys. Well, sir, one day in 1906, or no, 07 it was.
I'm sorry, Fibber, but my time is
I
pretty
know,
well
your time is my time. As I was saying, I drove into my bee farm one day and started giving the car a Johnson waxing. And I happened to lay the can of wax down by one of my hives.
Oh, you had the hive.
No, my bees had the hive.
Oh.
I had the bees. But I lays me the can of Johnson's wax down by one of the hives, and all of a sudden I see Hortense. Hortense, she was a queen bee from the Hamp's Mother honey farm next door. I see Hortense looking down into that can of wax, real curious. Then she give a kind of an angry buzz and flew away home. The next thing I knew, there she was back again with the whole swarm of bees from the Hamp's Mother honey farm.
Ah, she went and got her gang.
Yep. And when the buzzing had died down a mite, I could hear her say to them other bees, she says, sitting on the edge of the can of Johnson's Auto Wax, she says, "Listen, you mugs," she buzzes, "get a load of the work that's being done over here. Look at that wax. That there is wax as is wax. Now go on home and see what you can do."
Oh, no, Fibber.
McGee, now, will you let Mr. Wilcox get on to this work?
Okay. I was just giving Harpo here a nature lesson, but he ain't got the intelligence to grasp my stuff.
Well, we don't know about bees, but here's a tip that's honey. Now is the time to wax your car. Don't drive around another day in a dirty, dull, faded-looking car. It gives everybody a very poor impression of you. And it's so easy to take away all that unattractive, dirty film, give your car a gleaming polish that shines like new. It's easy, that is, if you use Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. These two products are regular miracle workers. They transform your car right before your eyes. With Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner, the work is done in about half the usual time. You'll be proud of your car when you see all the sparkle come back to the finish. It will look like it did when you first drove it out of the showroom. So go to your dealer at once and ask for Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. Let me assure you that Johnson's Auto Cleaner contains no harsh abrasive. It does a miraculous cleaning job, and it positively does not harm the finish. Insist on Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner and save the finish on your car. And now, the show stands still for Ronnie Mansfield, our handsome Irish tenor, who stands pat at the mic to sing, And Then My Heart Stood Still.
I took one look at you, that's all I meant to do, and then my heart stood still. My feet could step and walk, my lips could move and talk, and yet my heart stood still. Though not a single word was spoken, I could tell you knew that unfelt clasp of hands told me so well you knew. I never lived at all until the thrill of that moment when my heart stood still. Not a single word was spoken, I could tell you knew that unfelt clasp of hands told me so well you knew. never lived at all until the thrill of that moment when my heart stood
Back to the Wistful Vista Real Estate Development. Amid the banners and bunting, barbecues and bologna, where Fibber and Molly are getting their $2 worth of sandwiches and coffee at the expense of Mr. Hagelmeyer.
Well, McGee, if you're able to walk, let's be going.
Oh, shucks, Molly. You might let a fella finish his sandwich.
His sandwich? Go on with you, McGee. You've ate so much beef, I'll have to ride herd on you for the next 2 weeks.
Shucks, you done all right yourself, Molly.
I know. I ate my dollar's worth in piccaninny alone. Tear up your ticket and let's go.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Molly. Shucks, I paid $2 for that there ticket.
Yes, and that's $4 worth of sandwiches and coffee. You don't think you'll win a house and lot, do you?
Well, you never know, Molly.
Look at the number on that ticket, McGee.
Where?
Right on the corner there. Read it.
131,313. Well, what about it?
What about it? And do you think you'll win on number 131313? There's 3 strikes on you, McGee.
Shucks, that don't mean nothing, Molly. Add it up. 1 and 3 is 4, and 4 is 8, and 4 is 12. 12 is a lucky number, according to numerology. Even dozen.
Sure. An even dozen that doesn't mean anything. Oh, it is a nice little house. But you got no more chance of winning it than making a fortune on spaghetti in Ethiopia.
Oh, well, you'll have to admit, Molly,
there, my friend.
Oh, dear.
I hope you've enjoyed the hospitality of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista.
Oh, sure, they was real nice barbecues, mister. But we gotta be on our way now.
Oh, no, madam. You cannot afford to pass up the homemaking opportunity of a lifetime. Why, when you consider what Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista offers you in the way...
You got any soda tablets on you, bud?
No, sir, I'm afraid not. Oh, you will?
This is barbecued beef stampeding, mister. Come on, McGee.
Okay, glad to have met you, brother.
Oh, but wait. You haven't heard the real true story. The romance behind the founding of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista. We are building a community, sir. We are interested in laying the very cornerstones of civic development. We want to see homes and more homes with healthy, happy citizens. Little kiddies going to school. Smoke from 100 contented chimneys, even at a sacrifice.
Sacrifice?
Ah, yes. What is a monetary loss?
Well, when you can sell 131,313 tickets for $2 apiece, making $262,626 for a house that couldn't have cost more than $4,000 to put up? Ha! Answer me that, Mr. Sacrifice.
Well, I'm afraid, madam, that... Oh, here is Mr. Hagelmeyer himself. Mr. Hagelmeyer, these good people appear a bit skeptical of the sincerity of our Wistful Vista. I want you to meet Mr. Hagelmeyer, folks. Mr. Hagelmeyer, this is Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs.
McGee.
What?
Nothing. I was just telling Mr. Hagelsnuffer the name.
Hagelmeyer, madam. Mr. Hagelmeyer will tell you all the advantages and opportunities embraced in the purchase and ownership of a little home in Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista. And the drawing of the lucky number will be held in just a few moments now. Mr. Hagelmeyer will be more than...
My, Mr. Hageltooper. Do all these people pay $2 for a few barbecues and coffee and ballyhooey?
Do you mean to say that is to remark... never let it be said... Well, Herman Hagelmeyer... well, what do you think?
You know what I think, Haggy? I think that this here is a big jip. I think what we ought to do is
Well,
get out.
what? You mean to say there and stand... stand there and accuse... why, whoever... but did you ever stop to think that a man's best friend is... Well, what is mother without a home? What is home without a bar? Or a sink? Some place where a man... get the idea? just 2 little bums or birds in a gilded cage. Think of it, my friend. A little cottage with a big cheese. Cottage cheese. No. 1,000,000 times no. Or shall we say maybe?
McGee, what is this man talking about?
Sounds like you got the needle in the wrong groove, Molly.
Ah, what a beautiful thought. just give a little thought to, but think of the twilight. A little home in the sticks, or rhubarb, or suburbs, covered with mortgages, or ivy, poison ivy, or no, that was, and a cheerful fire, no insurance. I mean, a fire in the fireplace, a kettle singing on the stove, or home on the range, and a little wire-haired wife, a beautiful young pup, and the kitties. Ah, two charming little golden-haired brats. What a beautiful picture. Who says that Hagelmeyer builds bum bungalows, frame house, or stucco? I'll stick on my friends.
Am I hearing right, Molly, or maybe I ate one sandwich too many?
Oh, look, McGee, the crowd's going over there for the raffle. Come on, let's see who won.
Okay, Molly. Probably be the cousin of Hagelmeyer here.
Sir, you are either on Jack or injecting. Well, look. Think of owning a title-free. A little love newt, or fig newt, or love nest. And remember that old limerick, or poem? Let me live in the road by the side of, let me carouse by the side of, under the village oaksmith, the blackface, skip it. All I can say is that when you build with Hagelmeyer, you'll always regret, it'll never be, you can depend on it, why there's not the slightest foundation.
That's just what I thought. Come on, McGee, they're drawing numbers. We'll see you later, Mr. Higginpotter.
Certainly not. Yes, indeed. You can never depend on Hagelmeyer. You can always get what you want and find out what
That there feller builds houses like he talks. You could park your car in the attic and shingle the cellar.
Oh, be quiet, McGee. They're making an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the grand drawing is about to take place. Have your tickets ready. The lucky winner will receive, absolutely without cost or expense of any kind, free and clear title to the beautiful little home you see to my right. To those who do not win, we offer special bargains in home sites, homes designed and built on the beautiful Hagelmeyer Wistful Vista. Just a minute now, while the charming Miss Susie Glott, who was elected Miss Wistful Vista of 1935, draws the lucky number.
Oh, dear. They're not holding on to ticket number 131313.
Quiet, Molly. I want to see if old Hagelmeyer wins it himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, your kind attention, please. The lucky number has been drawn. The number that wins this beautiful example of the home builder's genius is none other than 1028. 1028. Will the lucky winner please step right up to the platform here?
Well, McGee, at least we had our barbecues and coffee.
Oh, shucks, the roof probably leaks anyway. What's the
Tear up the ticket, McGee. 113 is bad enough for 3.
Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, wait a minute, Molly. Maybe we got pie coming.
Correction here. A correction, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1028 was not eligible for the prize as it had been turned in and the money refunded. Another number has been drawn. It is number 131,313.
McGee! McGee, did you hear? It's our number, McGee. It's our number. McGee, what's the matter with you? McGee! Oh, there's somebody. He's fainted.
You're my silver lining, you're my sky of blue. There's a love light shining just because of you. Oh, see, I think, baby, you've got that certain thing, baby. Shining star and inspiration worthy of a mighty nation. Oh, see, I sing.
A few moments ago, I told you how easy it is to make your car sparkle like new again with Johnson's Auto Cleaner. Now it's very important to protect that gleaming finish so it will stay shining. And it's very important that you use Johnson's Auto Wax in order to give your car the surest protection against sun, rain, and road film. With a gleaming coat of Johnson's Wax on your car, whether new or old, it will resist dust and dirt. Car washings will be cut down after your car is Johnson Wax. The polish wears like iron, keeps your car in such beautiful condition that you will get much more money for it at the time of resale. So go to your dealer right away. Order Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner at the special price of 98 cents for the tube. Your dealer will give you a can of fine quality black touch-up enamel free with your purchase. If you prefer, your garage or service station will wax your car for you. But don't delay another day. Wax your car the Johnson way. So there you are until next Monday night at this same hour on NBC. Remember, NBC. N be sure to specify the genuine Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. NB safe. Oh, and NB. This is Harlow Wilcox speaking. Good night. The selection I Wished on the Moon is from the big broadcast of 1936 of The I Sing from the show of the same name. This program came to you from our Chicago studio. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
From 1928 until 1954, WLS Radio, known as the Big Rock Powerhouse later on in the 60s, shared its assigned frequency and overall broadcast operations with WENR, owned by the Blue Network, or what was NBC Blue at the time, until the successor, the American Broadcasting Company, merged WENR into WLS, purchased it all outright, and there you had the ending. And there were a lot of those time-sharing operations between various stations going on into the 60s and even the 70s. In Topeka, Kansas, WIBW Radio shared 5 hours every weekday, Monday through Friday, with the Kansas State University, KSAC, on 580. And both stations were very strong throughout the state of Kansas. But then eventually K-State sold out to WIBW, and there you have it. That's this peripherally related because we heard the WENR WLS switchover at the beginning of this episode of Fibber McGee and Molly, which explained how they got a hold of 79 Wistful Vista going back to August 26, 1935, 88 years ago. When we continue following a brief pause for messages here, we will have an episode for you of Fibber McGee and Molly, their final episode, sponsored by Johnson Wax from 1950. Hey, Wyatt Cox here. Thanks for making us a part of your day. If you're looking for some good presents or something special, may I suggest you go to mystore.com. That's mystore.com. You'll find a wide selection of made-in-the-USA products there. And if you use my promo code Wyatt, that's WYATT, you'll be able to get the best price available. mystore.com, promo code Wyatt. Now, we want to go back to Fibber McGee and Molly here and an episode from May 23rd, 1950. This episode, for 14 seasons, the folks at Johnson's Wax had sponsored Fibber McGee and Molly, and it was a good, solid relationship. But times changed. Johnson's Wax was going to move more into television, and they sponsored a number of quiz shows and a number of other programs. The one quiz show I can think of that they sponsored off the top of my head was a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production called The Name's the Same, starring Robert Q. Lewis. But they sponsored a number of shows on television, and I don't think that they sponsored the short-run Fibber McGee and Molly episode, which did not sponsor star Jim and Marion Jordan. But right now we're going to hear their final episode on NBC with Johnson's Wax. Now, they did go on several seasons, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But let's listen to this episode from May 23rd, 1950, the season ender of the 49-50 season of Fibber McGee and Molly.
The Johnson's Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. Makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Water Repellent Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, Dick LeGrand, Cliff Arquette, Elvia Allman, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The script is by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie. It's produced and directed by Frank Pittman with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Fibber and Molly join us in a moment. Here it is, the first announcement of a sensational new Johnson product. A new auto wax dramatically superior to any auto wax ever developed. It's reported in the public interest in the June Reader's Digest. It's called Johnson's Car Plate, C-A-R-P-L-A-T-E. And here's what it is. A new kind of wax, a new chemical discovery that gives two sensational benefits. One, car plate is tougher than any paste auto wax that's ever been developed. Two, and just listen to this. It's so easy to apply that you can wax your car in 20 minutes with no rubbing. Now here's what car plate means to you. It means that the car you're driving can shine like new tomorrow. And you can keep it shining like new as long as you drive it. There's no trick to using car plate. Just spread it on a clean car, let it dry, then wipe. Your car's not just polished, it's sealed with a coat of wax that's diamond bright and diamond smooth. A 10-ounce can of Johnson's Car Plate is enough to wax 2 whole cars. Costs only $1. Your money back if you're not completely satisfied. Car Plate is on sale right now in your town. Ask for Car Plate, C-A-R-P-L-A-T-E, at your service station or dealers tomorrow. We don't know what it is about the Irish, but they seem to be natural cowpunchers. Hopalong Cassidy, for instance, and Colonel Tim McCoy, and that great bull expert who was just made a cattleman in this morning's mail, Tex McGee of Fibber McGee and Molly.
But I don't understand, dearie. Why does Uncle Sycamore want you to manage his ranch this summer when you don't know a hackamore from a lawnmower?
Oh, yes, I do, kiddo. I got the Old West in my blood.
Well, yes, I guess you have at that.
You betcha.
When you cut yourself, you moo like a Hereford.
What I mean is, Tootsie, my Uncle Sycamore's lived out west for 40 years. And my father was a buffalo hunter, you know.
So was mine.
Yeah?
Yeah. He hunted the ones on the backs of nickels. But read Uncle Sycamore's letter again, dearie.
Okay. And if you can spare the time...
You can.
I want you to take charge of my ranch near Kilgore, Texas for the summer. I'm just running a small herd this year, only 2,500 head. And I'm sure you can boss the spread okay.
I only hope those cattle don't stampede and spread the boss.
Anybody can handle cattle. All you have to do is see they get fed, watered, and kept healthy.
That's exactly what I do for you. Say, I've been a cowgirl for years and didn't know it.
Ah, you'll love it out there, Molly. We'll have a big siesta every Saturday night and invite everybody. When roundup time comes, you can run the chuck wagon.
Let Chuck run his own wagon. I'll do the cooking, though.
Well, I reckon we ought to go down to the Bonton before sundown and lay us in some duds, Ma. Go get your sunbonnet on while I hitch up the buckboard and we'll head for the trading post.
Hold it, Tex, hold it. Company, come in.
Well, if it ain't the old-timer. Howdy, partner. Hunker down by the fire for a spell.
If I'd have knowed you was coming, I'd have baked an enchilada.
How'd you do?
How'd you do?
How'd you do? Oh, kids, that kind of talk always makes me homesick. Homesick for the open range.
Does it really?
Yep. I can shut my eyes and see it now. The open range. And Papa sitting there in front of it with his feet in the oven all winter long. How come all this cow talk, kid?
I'm going to manage a cattle ranch this summer, old-timer, for my Uncle Sycamore down in Texas. He's going prospecting for oil and wants me to take over the ranch for him.
Oh, that's great country, that Texas. Spent my boyhood down there. Had a job as a sow puncher on a pig ranch, kid. But I had to give it up. Things got out of control.
Why, what happened?
Well, sir, one of the pigs was rooting around one day and struck something that caused one of the biggest booms in the state of Texas.
Oil, eh?
Nope, dynamite. Grandpa had started away for a rainy day. He was a bank robber, Grandpa was.
Oh?
Besides being a midget.
A midget bank robber?
Yep. Robbed piggy banks. 7 foot tall, Grandpa was, and his stocking feet.
7 feet tall? That's not a midget.
It is in Texas, daughter. Texas, everything is big. I know the Crow Indian out there as big as an ostrich.
Medicine man?
No, thanks, son. I feel fine.
So you really like Texas, do you?
Oh, it's a wonderful place, daughter, and very generous people, too. I mind during the war when building materials were scarce, I needed some tar for a new roof. Folks from all over Texas loaned me enough tar to finish the job.
Well.
That's why I give Texas the name it's got.
What name?
Texas, the Lone Tar State. Get out of here, kid.
Yeah. Maybe we ought to go with you.
Well, if we're going down to the Bonton to get some Western clothes, dearie, we better get started.
Okay, I'm going to need some wool shirts, a few spurs, a pair of bow-legged pants, and... Hey, I wonder what I ought to do about chaps.
Rub them with cold cream.
Huh?
You get used to that, you know, after you ride.
I don't mean that kind of stuff. I mean them fur pants without any seat in them that cowboys always wear when they ride. Come in.
Oh, hello, Ole. Come in.
Well, thanks, missus. Hello, McGee.
Howdy, stranger. Lie down, set a spell.
What's wrong with him, missus? He get a new Ye-Notary comic book? Or did he used to get sandburrs in his cereal?
No, we're going out west this summer, Ole. McGee is going to manage a cattle ranch in Texas.
Yeah, you ought to come down there on vacation, Ole. You ever do any horseback riding?
Oh, sure, McGee. When I was a kid on the farm, I learned to ride a horse before I learned to walk.
Did you really?
Yeah. Sure. Even now, when I ride a horse of I have to learn to walk all over again.
So you were raised on a farm, were you, Ole? I wondered where you got that accent.
Yeah, that's where I met my missus, McGee.
Oh?
Her papa owned the dairy farm there where I worked. You know.
Oh, I catch on. Romancing the boss's daughter, were you?
Yeah. She was sitting up with a sick cow when her papa calls me to give her medicine.
Oh?
How romantic. Was she pretty, Ole?
Oh, very attractive, missus. She had a yamper disposition and big brown eyes, and she keeps switching her tail all the time.
Oh.
You mean my missus?
Of course.
Well, at the time, McGee, I didn't notice. I look up in my book what to do for the cow, but when I sit down, she gives a big moo and hits me with her horn.
The cow?
No, my missus. It was New Year's Eve, and she was celebrating with horns. Well, when I finally make the cow well, though, she was so happy she gives me a big kiss.
Girl kissed you, eh?
No, the cow did. The bird like my face. I was over there many times to see sick cows after that because always my missus sits up with them.
I'll bet you were.
Yeah, I used to get paid overtime doctoring cows, too.
That's all.
Till one day the boss finds out I'm in love with his daughter.
What happened then?
After that, when a cow gets sick, I'm used donating my time. Well, happy vacation, both you fellas.
So long, folks.
Billy Mills and the orchestra, and stay with the happy people.
McGee?
Oh, they must have. I want to stop at the music counter, too. Get some mandolin picks.
You're taking your mandolin?
Why, sure, Ma. Might want to serenade the beef critters if they get restless.
Oh, leave the mandolin to home, Pa. If them cows want to stampede, don't you help them. Besides, you don't have to corn the beef till it gets to the slaughterhouse.
You're a clip, Ma. You can't ride the range without you want to...
Incidentally, do we have to talk like this till we get to Texas? And do they talk this way even in Texas?
Why, sure they do. Why, when I was out in Texas one time, I was talking...
Your attention, please. Will the nearsighted lady who left the houseware department dragging a dust mop please return it and pick up her poodle? Thank you.
Say, I wonder if I ought to pick up a sunbonnet, McGee, and maybe a few...
Oh, there, Molly. Hello, McGee.
Oh, hello, Mr. Mayor.
Hi, Latriv. Glad we saw you before we left.
Left? Don't tell me you're going away for a while. Oh, yes. Yes, tell me that.
We certainly are, Your Honor. We're going out to Texas to manage McGee's uncle's cattle ranch for the summer.
Ever punch any cows, Latriv?
No, but I smacked a goat in the nose once. It was at my initiation into a literary fraternity, and this animal used a conjunction in the wrong place.
What conjunction?
But.
I was referring to cattle ranching, Latriv. Ever live out west where men are men and sleep on the ground because they don't take any bunk from anybody?
Yes. I was visiting out in Texas in 1931 and was adopted into an Indian tribe.
Oh. What tribe? Navajos?
No, the Texacos. They were all oil millionaires, vanishing Americans. They'd disappear into a bank while you were talking to them.
They adopted you into the tribe, eh, Latriv? Interesting procedure?
Oh, yes, it was, McGee. First, they did a war dance with a 40-piece Maya Davis orchestra. Around a campfire kindled with $20 bills, waving gold tomahawks, and drinking mezcal. Bonded, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And chanting an old Indian song called When I Grow Too Oiled to Dream.
Ceremony.
Yes. Then they smoked a pipe of peace, a $30 long-stemmed Dunhill, gave me a feather headdress, and named me Wahanimo Popo Hunda Poo-Poo.
Meaning what?
New member. Well, happy vacation to you both.
Well, thanks.
Thank you, man.
Well, come on, kiddo. We better start stocking up on our Western outfits because...
Your attention, please. Will the elderly gentleman who wanted to play with the electric trains in the toy department please come back? The railroad strike has been settled. Thank you.
By the way, McGee, where is the Western department?
It's over on the east side of the store, I think. Very logical. Oh, no, here it is, right here. Hey, look at the tweezers. Special today, 35 cents.
Tweezers? Are they Western equipment?
You'd think so if you ever sat on a cactus. Hey, Bud, are you occupied?
No, sir, I'm Doppelgong. Oh. Marvin Doppelgong. Here's my card, sir.
Oh,
well, how do you do, I'm sure. What does the card say, McGee?
It says, Dear Marvin, I'll meet you for lunch at 12:30 in Jemp's underwear. Love.
Yeah, oh, pardon me, that's the wrong card. That's it, here's my business card.
Oh.
I'll be with you in a moment.
Okay, Marvin, we'll browse around. This is a browsy-looking department, anyhow. Hey, Molly, I think I'll need a Texas hat. And don't you
Hello,
think...
Molly. Hiya, pal.
Well, hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, Junior. I was going to call you up later and tell you the news. You ever hear of Kilgore, Texas?
No. Did you ever hear of Car Plate?
Is that in Texas? We're going there.
Baby, I'll say it's in Texas and everywhere else. Johnson's have just come out with the biggest news for car owners since they threw away the crank. You want to hear about it?
Son, if you've really got something new to talk about, you've cornered a couple of happy little listeners.
Yes, for 15 years.
Well, this is new, all right, and terrific. It's the greatest thing.
Well, tell us, Junior. Tell us, boy.
Pal, it's about Johnson's Car Plate. A basic new chemical discovery from the Johnson Wax Laboratories. Car Plate is a smooth-flowing, wipe-on liquid wax. A completely new type of auto wax.
You just spread it on and wipe it off with no more than fingertip pressure. And it's amazing. It leaves your car with an even brighter finish than when it was new.
Don't you have to rub it to get that shine, Mr. Wilcox?
Nary a rub. You can do the job in 20 minutes, Molly, and believe me, it gives your car the kind of shine it used to take hours of hard rubbing to get. And furthermore, CarPlate is unconditionally guaranteed to give you the longest wearing, smoothest, brightest wax finish your car has ever had, or your money back.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that always convinces me, Junior, that money back stuff. Any outfit that's got that much confidence in
Well, you can see why I'm sort of excited. I feel like Columbus when he discovered America.
Yeah.
Balboa when he discovered the Pacific Ocean. And Piggly when he discovered Wiggly.
Well, sounds pretty terrific at that, Mr. Wilcox.
I'll tell you how terrific it is, Molly. Reader's Digest has recognized the importance of this remarkable new auto wax to the millions of car owners and devoted an article to its discovery and development in the June issue. Be sure to read it.
CarPlate.
Hey, pal, are you driving to Kilroy, Texas?
It's Kilgore, Waxy. Gore, like when an angry bull tries to horn in on you.
Oh, I see. Well, when you get there, pal, tell the cowboys about CarPlate. I'd never give a cattleman a bum steer. Have a nice vacation.
Must be a strain of Hereford in that boy. He was really white-faced about that new CarPlate. Well, we better get busy and get our stuff.
Yes, I think the clerk is free now, dearie.
Hey, Marvin, are you free now?
Sir, I am never free.
Oh.
I am chained to this counter hour after hour, day after day, people after bargains. What did you want, sir?
We need some Western equipment.
Going to run a ranch in Texas this summer, Bud. I'm foreman.
Well, how do you do, Mr. Foreman?
No.
And this, I presume, is Mrs. Foreman?
No, I'm Mrs. McGee.
Oh.
But never mind that. What have you got in Western clothes?
A cousin named Alden who fiddles for square dancing. He wears such tight pants that every time he sits down, he has to replace his E string. But as I often say, Alden, I say...
Now, wait, look, Marvin. Never mind the family reminiscences. We want to buy some clothes for Texas.
Oh, very well, sir. How old is little Texas? Now, with a growing boy, you have to allow...
No, Mr. Doppelgong. We don't mean a boy named Texas. They're for my husband.
Yeah.
Oh, for Mr. Foreman here.
I'm...
Well, what size cowboy suit did you wear, Mr. Foreman? I don't think the Hopalong Cassidy outfits come in a 44 stub.
I don't want a Hopalong Cassidy stub. Look, I want some Western pants, some blue jeans.
Yes. Do you carry Levi's?
No, madam. Levi carries his own. I have all I can tote without having...
Dad, Reddit, cut it out, will you? Now, look, I'm going to be running a ranch, see? 2,500 head of cattle. I'll have 4 or 5 hands working for me, and naturally, I want to look my best.
Well, sir, if you have 4 or 5 hands, you look best in a coat with 4 or 5 sleeves. Now, we only have one, a coat of arms we made up for a gentleman.
Please, Mr. Doppelgum.
Doppelgong, Mrs. Foreman, gong.
Calling Mr. Lunk, Mr. Walter Lunk. Please report to Mr. Newhouse's office immediately. Thank you. Mr. Newhouse, please. Let go of me, for goodness sake.
Come on, baby. Give me another little... Hey, is that speaker turned on?
Oh, good heavens, yes, I forgot to...
Heavenly days.
Oh, that Newhouser, always in there pitching. Now then, what can I do for you, Mr. Foreman?
You can stop calling me Mr. Foreman. My name is Mr. McGee, Fibber Mr. McGee.
No, you're Foreman.
I'm confused.
No, you're Mrs. McGee.
No, I'm... Now, wait a minute. Let's start over here. Now, look, Bud, I want to buy a Stetson. What have you got in a good, comfortable hat?
My head, sir. I'm going to lunch. Good day.
King's Men and hold that critter down.
Yippee-yi-yi-yow! It's roundup time and the weather's fine and the strays must all be branded. The irons fry and the doggies cry, but the old man has commanded. So all day long I sing this song, hold that critter down, hold him down.
Well, how do I look in these chaps and spurs, Molly? Pretty Western, huh?
Yes. But take your feet off the Davenport before you tear our good furniture with those things. Why do you need spurs anyhow?
What you mean, why do I need spurs? Why does any hard riding up at the crack of dawn saddle-happy bullwaddy need spurs for? Because when you ride into town and tie up at the soda fountain, you can dig your heels into the bar stool. Oh, Molly, think of me in charge of 2,500 head of cattle. Hey, did we get a wire from Uncle Sycamore while we were downtown?
Well, not that I know of. Should we have?
I wired him and asked him when roundup time is and what kind of cattle he's got. You know, if they're longhorns, I'll have to buy a lasso with a bigger loop in it because... yeah, them longhorns are... You gotta have... Uh-oh. Who's that, telegram?
No, it's Dr. Gamble, McGee.
Oh, him. Oh, boy. Wait till old Doc sees me in these chaps and spurs. He'll be so jealous he'll... Come in.
Hello, Dr. Gamble. Do come in.
Thank you, Molly, and good day to you, lump rump.
Well, howdy, Doc, you old horse thief. Hitch up and set a spell, partner. You sure are a sight for sore eyes, aren't he, Ma?
Yes, he is, dearie.
You betcha.
And you're the sight that'll make them sore.
I hear you're getting ready to leave on vacation, Molly. Where are you going this year, the seashore?
No, Doctor, as a matter of fact...
You can see by my clothes that we're heading for the wide open spaces, partner. We're going back where the heart is. Back among the simple, kindly folks.
Peoria. Well, if they can stand you, it'll be okay.
Dad, we're not. We're going to Texas, you big rum-dum. Don't be so stubborn. My gosh, what would I be wearing these chaps to Peoria for?
Oh, I think those fur breeches would be very apropos, my boy.
Yeah?
When you left Peoria, you didn't have any seat in your pants either.
Oh, yeah. And you've never had that trouble, low bucket. Your pants are so full of seat that by George...
Please now, dearie. You're forgetting the code of the Old West, dearie.
Pardon me, Ma.
You know, a real Texan never insults a guest under his own roof.
Shucks, Ma, you make me downright ashamed. I've been acting like a wind-broke maverick with a burr under his saddle.
Oh, Pa, you sure get off some good ones.
I'm quite a wag among the waddies. We're peace-loving folks, partner.
Oh, cut it out. You're about as Western as a Bronx cab driver.
Westerner.
You speak English, Molly. What's this all about?
Letter from McGee's Uncle Sycamore, Doctor. Wants himself here to manage his ranch in Texas this summer.
He's got quite an outfit, Docky. He says...
I'll go see who it is, dearie.
Gee, I wish you could go out to Texas this summer, Fatso. I'd like to show you the country on horseback.
No, thanks. I can take a horse or leave him. In fact, both times I've taken them, I've left them. And as for beef, I'll have mine with parsley, a green salad, and 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, but when you're riding the range with 2,500 head of cattle, riding through miles of sagebrush, keeping an eye peeled for rustlers...
Oh, a telegram for you, McGee.
Hot dog from Uncle Sycamore. Wait a second, Doc.
Okay.
I sent for all the details of what kind of cattle and when was the roundup and stuff. The reason I asked was if all our friends want to come out for the roundup, you see, I can get the...
Well?
What does it say, McGee?
Well, it's, not exactly the... Well, what I mean is...
Let me see that telegram, Cisco. Dear Fibber, who said anything about cattle? I have a 2-acre ranch with 2,500 head of the finest turkeys in Texas. Roundup time 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. Regards, Uncle Sycamore.
Heavenly days, a turkey ranch.
Turkeys? Why, of all the fowls...
I take it all back, Sonny. Uncle Sycamore is a great judge of man.
Huh?
Anybody who can toss out the corn like you is a born turkey rancher.
Fibber and Molly return in a moment. You have never seen anything like Johnson's car plate because there never has been a product on the market like it. Reader's Digest, recognizing the importance of this remarkable new auto wax, devotes an article to its discovery and development in the June issue. Just think, in 20 minutes, you can give your car a better wax shine and better protection than you've ever been able to get from any auto wax or polishing process. Just spread on and wipe. There's no rubbing with Johnson's Car Plate. Get this sensational new auto wax tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for being with us during our 16th year for Johnson's Wax. You've been wonderfully loyal to us all these years, and we'll see you again the second week in September. Ain't it the second week in September, kiddo?
Well, I think so. Let me see a calendar.
Okay, I seen a calendar just the other day. It's right here in the hall closet.
No, McGee, no, now, please.
There it is, second week in September. Good night.
Good night, all.
The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Water Repellent Glow Coat have brought you Fibber McGee and Molly each Tuesday night during the past season. Please be with us again when we return to the air next September, won't you?
Last call. Last call for the bargain of the year in Johnson's Glow Coat. You can still get the world's finest self-polishing floor wax in giant containers that give you 1/3 more wax at no extra cost. And it's the new Glow Coat, the self-polishing floor wax that lasts up to 4 times longer because it's positively water repellent. Look for those giant containers tomorrow at your dealers. They tower head and shoulders over containers of ordinary size. While they last, you get 1/3 more wax at no extra cost. Get Glow Coat tomorrow. Listen at this time next week for the all-new Penny Singleton Show over many of these same NBC stations.
Oh, I need to pull out an episode of that Penny Singleton show because that was good. We have one episode of it in our collection, and I'll try to roll it out here for y'all to enjoy. Now, the following season, Pet Milk, the evaporated milk product, they would take over sponsorship for, I believe, it was 1 season. And then, actually, was it 2? It might have been 2. It was 2. But then maybe 3. No, in the 1952 season, they would kick over to Reynolds Aluminum for the 52-53 season. And I believe they were in for just the 1 season. And then Fibber and Molly would end being a half-hour program. But they would continue in quarter hours. And when we continue following this message, we're going to bring you the final quarter-hour episode of Fibber McGee and Molly right here. I'm Wyatt Cox, and this is Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thank you for spending some time with us here. I know we're running a little over an hour, and we're going to run for about another half hour here. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Fibber McGee and Molly had a very long run as a half-hour program. They ran from 1935 until their final episode in a half-hour format, June 30th, 1953. All live, big studio orchestra in front of a big studio audience. Well, due in part to the cutting back of radio and also due in part to Molly's health issues, they started doing the program in a 15-minute format, which, by the way, the shows were recorded in the Jim Jordan household. So it was very, very easy to do that way for Jim and Marion Jordan as Fibber McGee and Molly. And the shows were sometimes, but not always, sponsored by a single sponsor. I believe Miles Laboratories at the very end here advertised their various products on the show. The show went to a quarter-hour program format beginning October 5th, 1953. And I believe if you look back, you'll see that's a Sunday. They ran Sunday through Thursday for a big chunk of this run, and they would eventually move to a Monday through Friday format. Their final episode of the show, which we're going to hear now, was originally broadcast, Friday, March 23rd, 1956, the final quarter-hour episode of Fibber McGee and Molly.
Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, bring you another visit with Fibber McGee and Molly. Again, we invite you to listen to the transcribed adventures of Fibber McGee and Molly. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Ralph Goodman and directed by Max Hutto. Our story will be underway in just a minute.
I've got a cold.
I've got Alka-Seltzer.
For a cold?
For a cold, indeed. Alka-Seltzer relieves the discomforts of a cold and helps you feel better while you're getting better.
Well, tell me more.
It's like this. Alka-Seltzer relieves the headache, the feverish feeling, the muscular aches and pains that usually come with a cold. And if your throat feels irritated, just dissolve 2 Alka-Seltzer tablets in a quarter glass of warm water and use it as a pleasant, soothing gargle. When you have a cold, remember to take care of yourself. And take Alka-Seltzer.
It sure sounds good to me.
It is good, ladies. Alka-Seltzer, to relieve your cold discomforts and help you feel better while you're getting better. Try it.
Mr. McGee of 79 Wistful Vista is about to make a very important purchase.
Yeah, that's what I want, Harry. Calf's liver. £1.50. No, wait. Did Molly say calf's liver or beef liver? Let me think a minute.
Beef liver, Fuzzface. I recommended it.
Oh, hi, Doc. Yeah, £1.50 of beef liver, Harry. Make it good and lean. Well, what are you doing in a butcher shop, Fatso? Come down to get your license renewed?
Oh, you are a funny man. Isn't he a card, Dave?
Always was, Doctor. Us kids used to get a big kick out of Mr. McGee. Huh? What are you... Hey, wait a minute.
Recognize our young friend here?
Why, sure. My gosh. Dave Eustace.
Yep.
Little Davy Eustace. Boy, have you grown. What are you doing in town? I thought your folks lived in Chicago.
Oh, they do, Mr. McGee. I'm here on my new job, checking the operating procedures out at Coombs Aircraft. I'm an efficiency expert now.
No kidding.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's great. Efficiency expert, huh? Swell. Well, gee, that's, what kind of job is it?
I was waiting for that question. Explain it to him, Dave. I gotta run along. Give my regards to the folks when you ride home, and good luck on the job.
Thanks, Doctor. Goodbye. Nice guy.
Oh, sure. Old Doc's 3 of the nicest guys in town. But about this job of yours, I've heard of efficiency experts, but what do you do?
Well, take the aircraft plant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just picture a myriad of machines, each one producing an individual part that will eventually constitute the whole aircraft.
Yeah?
Well, it's my job to simplify operating procedures and revamp fabricating methods.
Yeah?
And at the same time to decrease budgetary expenditures and show them how to up-curve production.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way.
Yeah?
Look, you see that clerk piling up those cans over there?
Where? Oh, yeah, him, yeah.
He's got the box over here and the display over there.
Mm-hmm.
That means 10 steps every time he comes over to get more cans. Wasted motion. Inefficiency.
Oh, I get it. If he moved the box over there...
Why, sure, he wouldn't have to walk at all. Do the job in half the time.
Gee, I never thought of that.
Well, we used this pedometer on our last job, and we found...
You used what?
This thing here. It's like a clock, see? You strap it on your leg, and it measures the steps you take.
Hey, let's see that. That's pretty clever.
Oh, this is big business, Mr. McGee. My company saves millions for industry every year. Even the average housewife could use an efficiency expert in the kitchen. It's amazing how many unnecessary steps and movements a housewife...
Yeah, hey, could I borrow this speedometer here?
Pedometer. I do have another one, but...
Swell.
I'll take good care of it, Davy, and you can stop by the house and pick it up tomorrow. I'm going to run a survey of my own with this, at home.
At home?
Housework. Boy, this is a great idea you got here. I'll take this thing home, strap it on Molly's leg, and make her the most efficient housewife in town.
Well, gee, I don't know, Mr. McGee. Wives don't seem to...
Don't you worry, I'll take good care of it. Ah, Molly's going to love me for this.
Well, that I doubt. I should have told him about the time I tried it on my wife. Almost broke up my marriage the first month, and... Gee,
Davy says they save millions of dollars in big business every year just through efficiency.
My goodness, I just can't get over it. Little Davy Eustace, all grown up.
Yeah, and let me tell you about this work of his. It's terrific. You see...
Tell me later, McGee. I've got to get my housework finished and get dinner started. It'll take a couple of hours to get...
Oh, no, it won't. Not anymore, it won't, kiddo. That's what I've been trying to explain to you about this efficiency stuff. But I can see it's a little too involved for the female mind.
What?
Why don't you just go ahead with your housework, and I'll rearrange the kitchen for you so when you cook dinner...
Oh, no. I don't know what you're up to, but don't you touch my kitchen.
Look, kiddo, sit down. Let me explain this to you. It's for your own good, Molly.
But, McGee...
Here, you take this speedometer and strap it on your leg.
What? Well, of all the silly
Come on, put your foot up here.
What?
I'll do it. You see, with this scientific instrument, we're going to cut your housework in half, and the time we save... hold your foot still.
In a moment, we'll return to Fibber McGee and Molly.
You know, the fun you have is good for you. You need it, you deserve it. The question is, do you always feel good enough to enjoy it? Sometimes a headache or an upset stomach just won't let you enjoy the fun that's so good for you. Well, that, my friend, is a situation that calls for speedy Alka-Seltzer, the medicine that's so refreshing.
You see, Alka-Seltzer becomes a relief-giving liquid that's better because of action in the glass.
Yes, action in the glass changes Alka-Seltzer tablets into a liquid for quick and easy use by your system.
Action in the glass supercharges Alka-Seltzer with lively bubbles, making it a soothing liquid that speeds relief.
Action in the glass makes Alka-Seltzer easy to absorb immediately. Try it, won't you? For refreshing relief of a headache or upset stomach, take Alka-Seltzer.
Now, close the refrigerator, kiddo. That's it. Now, walk over to the sink, like you always do when you wash the lettuce you just took out of the refrigerator. That's it. There. That's the way. That strap isn't too tight around your leg from the speedometer, is it?
No. And it's not speedometer, it's pedometer. Let's get this over with.
Well, we're okay on the test run so far. 865 steps, including pretending to make the salad. Now, what would your next move be? I mean, if you were really cooking dinner instead of practicing.
I'd put the potatoes on to fry, and then I'd put the liver on.
One thing at a time, kiddo. Now, one thing at a time. Okay, pretend you're getting the potatoes.
Oh.
That's it. Now, over here and get the skillet. That's it. Right. Now the potatoes go in. Now then, how long does it usually take to fry them?
For the potatoes, 15 minutes, and for the liver, about 7 minutes, depending on wind velocity and updraft.
Oh, come on, Molly. We're almost through. Gee whiz, kiddo, this is all for your own good. You'll see. Now, as soon as I figure up how many steps it took you with this practice run, then I'll start moving things around in here to make it more efficient, you see. And you'll be amazed how much time you'll save when you really do cook dinner tonight.
Now, remember what I told you about that, McGee. You can try it, but if I don't like the way you change things around, and I'll bet you $1 million I don't, then you put everything back where you got it. You hear?
That's our agreement, my dear. And I may add that this is the usual attitude we efficiency men expect. Most people resist progress. But don't hate yourself for it.
I won't. I'm trying not to hate anybody at this point.
Now, you run along and finish your upstairs cleaning, Tootsie. I got work to do here. Now, let me see. If I hang the pots and pans over here and put a shelf up there, I ought to have... are, Molly, all set.
What'd you do
I just put a few little shelves up around the stove here. Just temporary till we see how it works.
Oh, fine.
I didn't drive the nails in deep. I can pull them out if I have to. But you'll see. Wait till you see the time you save. You ready to start?
I guess so. Ready as I'll ever be.
Good. You got the speedometer on, and I got my watch. We'll start with the rice pudding, like we pretended to do on the test run, see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get set. 1, 2, 3, go. Go. Gee whiz, Molly, come on, go.
I'd like to, but where are the saucepans? I keep them over there in the...
Oh, yeah. I put them in a more convenient spot. Let's see now, where was that? Oh, yeah, there they are. Jammed in behind the stove where the hooks are going to be when I get time to...
Look, sweetheart.
Molly, please. Now, I got to set my watch back, see? Now, we'll start over. 1, 2... You ready?
Yes.
Go. That's it. That's the way. That's it. Don't lose any motions. Now the skillet. Don't lose any motions. Efficiency is the byword. That's it. Go, girl. Good. 1 hour and 10 minutes and 321 steps so far. Discounting an accumulated 38 minutes and 814 steps looking for stuff that you forgot where I put it. Are you tired? Well, it won't take much longer.
I hope not. I'm starving. Honestly, this
Nearly through. It won't be long now. Let's see. We're right up to the last step now. Putting the liver on the stove.
Look, McGee, I'm a patient woman, but this whole thing is just ridiculous. This stupid pedometer strapped on my ankle, and I can't find anything in my kitchen, and I'm hungry.
Now, we're almost through, Tootsie. While you're cooking the liver, I'll figure up all my calculations, and you'll see how efficient this way is, and we'll eat. You ready?
Yes.
Go. That's the way. That's it. That's it. On the stove. That's right. Now, over to the refrigerator for the liver. That's the way. Open the door. Now, take out the liver. Molly, take out the liver.
I can't find it.
What do you mean you can't? Oh, my gosh.
What is it?
It's still on the counter at the meat market. I was so hopped up about this efficiency stuff, I forgot to... Now, Molly, put that skillet down, kiddo. No, don't chase me. Look out, you'll get the numbers all mixed up on the speedometer, and we won't know
Your friends have more to say to you presently.
Mother, do some days seem extra long because you feel too tired too much of the time? Well, you know, one of the common causes of a tired, pepless feeling is a shortage of vitamins. And your meals may not always contain enough of these essential food elements. Vitamins have a way of getting lost in the cooking, storing, and processing of food. That's why it's wise to fortify your family meals with One-A-Day brand multiple vitamin tablets. They supply all the vitamins anyone normally needs to take. Easy to take One-A-Day brand multiple vitamins are low in cost, and they include vitamin B12. Protect your family from vitamin shortage. Tell your druggist you want One-A-Day brand multiple vitamin tablets in the blue box with the big red 1.
You know, this efficiency idea of yours was a good one at that. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know when I've enjoyed a dinner so much, Terry.
Waiter, bring me the check.
No dishes to wash. Ah, that's my idea of efficiency.
So long, everybody.
Bye.
Fibber McGee and Molly, transcribed, is brought to you Mondays through Fridays at this time by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer. Dr. Gamble is played by Arthur Q. Bryan. Davy Eustace was played by Billy Idelson. Friends, this marks the last program in the current Fibber McGee and Molly series. We thank you for being a faithful, loyal audience and hope that we've brought you a few chuckles to reward you. This is John Wald wishing you all good luck and saying goodbye.
Monitor takes you everywhere, weekends on NBC Radio.
And that brought to an end the current series, as they used to say it, the Fibber McGee and Molly program. However, Fibber and Molly were not done being on radio, because you heard the mention there of Monitor. And Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues. We'll hear Fibber McGee and Molly on Monitor. Hi, Wyatt Cox with Classic Radio Theater here on your favorite radio station. I want to remind you that MyPillow.com has a special on the original queen-size MyPillow for $19.98, a king-size $10 more. Easily to find out, go on to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener square, use my promo code Wyatt, and there you go. You can get yourself a great MyPillow at an amazing price. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Wyatt. Now, NBC's ambitious Monitor program was quite astounding. In its original format, it had all the ability to be the next generation of radio. Unfortunately, clearance became the problem of that too. Because, see, the radio stations at that time still had to have somebody in the studio pushing buttons for when Monitor took its breaks. Radio stations figured rather than have the guy just push buttons, have him play records. Then we don't have to deal with NBC. And that's what they did. But Monitor in the outset was an amazing program. It was the real variety show of the year. News, information, special features, music, and Fibber McGee and Molly, and George Gobel, and all sorts of other comedians and entertainers. And Fibber and Molly went on doing this program for a period of time. They recorded these interludes, Just Molly and Me, featuring the Jordans, in 5-minute sketches written by Monitor staffer Tom Koch, who also wrote for Bob and Ray. Now, Koch caught the spirit of the series, brought back many familiar hallmarks, and cleverly fashioning new stories in 5-part serial format, which would you hear across the weekend. Monitor ran all weekend long, Friday and Saturday, all weekend long. In fact, for a while, it also ran on Friday evenings. And it was very easy, very turnkey. And if radio automation had been in the state today, that it is today, it would still be around. Although it's very expensive because of all the writers and stuff that had to be done. But let's listen to an episode of Fibber McGee and Molly. This episode originally broadcast on Monitor, and this was originally broadcast on May 17th, 1958.
General Mills, makers of Cheerios, the oat cereal ready to eat, present Fibber McGee and Molly.
Oh, McGee, not another houseplant. You've already got our house looking like a jungle.
This is a botanical experiment, Molly.
First midget redwoods, then grafting bananas on my philodendron, and that tropical flower that snapped at the Toops' cat, poor thing.
Yeah, but Molly, this is practical. You see, I've got this wire coiled around this bushel of oats. Trains them to grow right into Cheerios, round like O's. You get it?
Oh, McGee, you don't have to do that. General Mills takes oats, toasts them crisp, adds all kinds of extra vitamins and minerals, and that's a Cheerios breakfast with power protein. A real delicious power breakfast. Why?
Power, that's it. Now, supposing I plug this wire in, toast the oats right while they're growing.
McGee, you're yanking that wire mighty tight.
Ah, wow, got a whole mouthful.
Like your oats that way, dearie?
They're good, but I think I'll go back to Cheerios.
If you know your oats and want to feel your oats, you go for Cheerios.
And now here they are again, Fibber McGee and Molly.
Now, let's see. When we march past the reviewing stand, I wonder if I ought to salute or just wave.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hi there, Teeny.
Hi.
How come you're out sashaying around your social circle this sultry Saturday?
I saw you standing here in your Boy Scout suit, and I said to myself, if Mr. McGee builds a campfire, he'll probably toast marshmallows. And if he toasts marshmallows, he may toast more than he can eat himself. And if he toasts more than he can eat himself, maybe a little girl who just happened to be there would get some.
I'm afraid your calculations are all built on a faulty pumice, sis. This isn't a Boy Scout suit I'm wearing. It's my old uniform from World War I.
Gee, I better go home and hide in the fruit cellar, I guess.
Hide in the fruit cellar. What for?
My daddy told me the Army wouldn't take men in your age group unless the outskirts of Wistful Vista were invaded.
Well, your old man... Well, anyhow, never mind the pithy prattle of your paternal parent. On top of which, I'm not going back in the Army. I'm just going to march in the Armed Forces Day Parade this afternoon.
Gee, are you going to march with all the soldiers and sailors and flyers, mister? Are you?
That's just what I'm going to do, Teeny.
What is?
March.
Who with?
The soldiers and sailors and flyers.
Where?
In the parade.
When?
This afternoon.
Oh, I'll bet you're not. You're just teasing me because you know I'll believe anything you say.
No, I wouldn't tease a tiny tot like you, Teeny. Us heroes are all going to march.
Oh, boy. Were you a hero?
Well, I don't like to boast, sis. But it was I and a couple of other fellows who kept the Huns from hiding themselves into Hartford, Huntington, Houston, Hackensack, and the homey hills of Hollywood and various and sundry points in between.
Gee, did you win the war all by yourself?
Well, there were a few other people involved. But I was the one up there at the head of the line using my vast knowledge of military operations to outwit the Huns. After the war, the president called me to the White House and he said, "Colonel McGee, the nation owes its victory to you."
Gee, is that a colonel's uniform you're wearing now?
Oh, well, no, not exactly. You see, my colonel's uniform is out at the cleaners. Somebody spilled soup on it at a recent banquet in my honor, and they were trying to climb over the table to get my autograph.
Golly. I better go home and tell my daddy about this, I guess.
Now wait, I figured that the story of my exploits were just kind of between you and me, huh? What do you want to tell your daddy for?
Because in the Korean War, he was only a captain, and he only shot down 53 enemy planes, and he only got the Distinguished Flying Cross. And if you were a colonel, why, he ought to salute you. Sure. So long.
As it was broadcast on NBC's Monitor, May 17th, 1958, in the 3 o'clock Eastern Time hour, Fibber McGee and Molly. They wanted to go on and keep doing it. There was just one small problem. Ovarian cancer. Molly was gone. Fibber McGee and Molly, an hour's worth, as we talked about here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Our webpage is classicradio.stream. If you'd like to throw me a couple of bucks to buy me a copy, always appreciated. That's at classicradio.stream. Thank you so much for downloading this podcast and hope you enjoyed it. I'm Wyatt Cox, Classic Radio Theater.